This is the source of water for many residents of Tudunwada, a sleepy community on the outskirts of the densely populated Maraba neighborhood in Nasarawa State, north-central Nigeria.
People from Uke, Kershi here, Tudunwada, Kershi here, they do drink the water, but that is the indigene. Last 2 weeks, somebody got sick and is from this river, and he died.
The Tudunwada community is just one of thousands across the 36 states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, where data indicates that 57 million Nigerians, yes, you heard it right, 57 million out of the over 170 million Nigerians do not have access to any form of safe and clean water. This explains why 45,000 children under the age of 5 years in Nigeria die every year from diarrhea caused by unsafe water and poor sanitation. It is understandably clear that access to safe and clean water is also central to hygiene and sanitation. Unfortunately, a new report by WaterAid, an international charity organization working in 38 countries worldwide, rates Nigeria as the worst country in Africa for urban sanitation access, with 130 million out of the over 170 million population, that is 2/3 of the entire citizens of Africa's most populated country, not having access to adequate sanitation. For communities such as Tudunwada, the situation is so bad that WaterAid is running an international appeal for donations that will help address the water crisis in about 100 communities, targeting at least 3 million people spread across the 6 states of Bauchi in northeast Nigeria, Jigawa in northwest Nigeria, and then Benue and Plateau in north-central Nigeria. The others are Ekiti in southwest Nigeria and Enugu in southeast Nigeria. I am TV Tiav. Welcome to Nigeria's Development Promotion Program on television, Straight Talk. On January 28, 2010, the General Assembly of the United Nations formally recognized access to safe and clean water and sanitation as a human right. This aptly captured in 2015 as clean water and sanitation is Goal 6 of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, the SDGs. Instructively, even though the famous Millennium Development Goals, the MDGs, which Nigeria is reported to have met about 65% of the target, did not specifically mention access to safe and clean water and sanitation, one major project undertaken in most rural and semi-urban communities across Nigeria under the 15-year-old intervention program was the drilling of boreholes. Most of these water projects across the country have, however, broken down and not of any use to residents of the communities they were supposed to serve, with their attendant consequences.
Some are just stagnant lake. These are the kind of water they drink. They know they have borehole here. I met the borehole here, but it's not working. Since I came in, it has not been working.
Who provided the borehole?
I think it should be government, because I saw this Millennium Development Goal this thing on it. So I'm sure it's government that did it.
This is the 27-year-old Amaradu water project in GBOKO, one of the major towns in Benue State, north-central Nigeria. The project, which was inaugurated in December 1990 by then military president Ibrahim Babangida, depends on raw water from one of the tributaries of River Benue in Buruku local government area of the state that has now come under siege from armed Fulani herdsmen who attack, destroy, maim, and kill farmers in their villages with impunity. The water project, like many others across the country, barely served the benefiting community of GBOKO before it became a liability to the people, the ancestral town, and the government. The Amaradu water project, which has remained under lock and key, was constructed by Water Nigeria Limited, that has so far reportedly delivered on only one water project out of the many it has handled in Nigeria, including the Greater MAKURDI Water Works in the BENUE state capital, which the company could not deliver 7 years after the contract of $6.2 million was awarded to it by the then Governor George Akume-led administration in the state. Described as a state where clean water is a luxury, with most people relying on expensive water vendors for dangerous contaminated streams and wells, even MAKURDI, which is located right on the banks of the two major rivers in the country, is without safe and clean public water. This is 5 years after then President Goodluck Jonathan inaugurated the $42 million Greater MAKURDI Water Works, which has a capacity of 100,000 cubic meters per day, and was supposed to be one of the legacy projects of the embattled former governor, Gabriel Suswam.
We have actually sent some team of consultants there to find out exactly what the problem has been. They have done that and given us a report. So we are working towards bringing up a cost estimate on what it will involve.
Water crisis, no doubt, has become a major national problem in Nigeria, with all the 36 states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, having their respective peculiar challenges. What is, however, common across the country is the fact that very little is invested by the different levels of government in the provision of potable water to the citizens, with the federal government proposing only 85.146 billion naira for capital expenditure on water projects in 2017 out of the country's 7.298 trillion naira national budget. These are the facts we also have on some of the states. In northwest Nigeria, while the government of Kaduna State, in its 2017 budget of 214 billion naira, allocated only 8 billion naira to water resources, including recurrent expenditure, Kano State, with the highest population and number of local governments in the country, budgeted 13.5 billion naira for water projects out of its total budget of 204 billion naira. For Lagos State in southwest Nigeria, which is also one of the most populated states in the country, its 2017 budget of 813 billion naira provided only 18 billion naira for water supply, as Anambra State in southeast Nigeria allocated 3.2 billion naira out of its 115.5 billion naira budget for the Ministry of Water Resources. These insignificant investments in public water supply projects and administration have led to a huge gap in the provision, delivery, and access to safe and clean water. This situation has in turn created jobs for water vendors across the country, while individuals who drilled boreholes have also become business operators selling water to members of the public who are usually in desperate need of the essential amenity. The story of inadequacy is shared by most of the states, from Ibadan, the capital of Oyo State in southwest Nigeria, to Kaduna in northwest Nigeria. That is also a state capital and one of the oldest cities in the country. Most of the residents do not have access to public water supply, largely due to the non-expansion of existing water projects amidst the geometric increase in population, especially in the urban areas over the years. But then the most pathetic case is that of ABAKALIKI, the capital of the southeastern state of Ebonyi, where the Oferekwe mega water project was completed in 2015, but there are no reticulation pipes to pump the water and distribute it to the residents.
We have a lot of water here. The equipment are here, very modern, sophisticated, very digital. But still, we are yet to touch and drink the water.
It is an abysmal failure on the part of Oyo State government. I do not mean specifically the present government. It's a failure that is being systemic. It becomes expensive when it's not available. So in the University of Ibadan, water is a serious issue. You want to use this particular office now, if you want to use our restroom now, is an issue.
Across the country, Nigerians who can afford it have continued to depend on water from the boreholes they have drilled and maintain at a very high cost, including that of escalating electricity bills. The disturbing issue took us to the old Federal Secretariat in Area 1 of Garki District in Abuja, the Nigerian capital, where we sat down with the Minister of Water Resources, Suleiman Adamu, to engage him on why Nigeria has failed to provide safe and clean water for her citizens across the 36 states of the Federation and the FCT, and why the federal government is seen to be doing very little or nothing at all to address the worsening water situation in the country.
It's because the planning was, derailed. So what we are trying to do now is to encourage the states to continue to go back to planning, to go back and start expanding their water schemes. Sometimes some states also come, maybe they have some good projects and they need some federal government support. Under the Natural Water Resources Policy, there is provision for federal government to provide some contribution to their schemes under certain conditions, and so we're also doing that.
Draw your attention to the case of two states, Plateau State. In Jos, there are these tin mining ponds that were abandoned, that the state government has made use of some of them as a water scheme. There are concerns as to whether that is healthy for human consumption. That's one. Two, River State. The last time I was there, cries almost everywhere. Look, we don't take it, there's no water supply perhaps. And as I said, is there any way the federal government can possibly make an intervention?
No, that's entirely the responsibility of the states. But if they want some technical expertise, if they want some specific assistance, they should be the ones to come and ask the federal government what specific assistance they want. Otherwise, it's their entire responsibility, and we don't interfere.
The position of the minister explains why the federal government has not been seen making remarkable intervention in the provision and supply of potable, clean and safe water to communities across the country. In recent times, the major water project undertaken by the federal government is the 5.9 billion naira water scheme in the hometown of the immediate past President Goodluck Jonathan in Bayelsa State, South Nigeria, which was just abandoned like the other 117 water projects across the country. The water scheme, known as the Central Ogbia Regional Water Supply Project, was inaugurated in September 2016 to serve OTUOKE and 12 other communities that have a total population of 130,000 people.
I must say this, no matter the beautiful houses and the expensive houses the federal government and the private sector build in Abuja and improve the vista of Abuja, but no matter how expensive and how good our road network is, Abuja in Africa is one of the cities that have the best road network. But no matter how good the road network is and facilitate our movement and improve the elegance of Abuja, we cannot say Abuja is a modern town if people have to sink their boreholes or generate their own electricity.
Former President Goodluck Jonathan, at the inauguration of the 18.09 billion naira phases 3 and 4 of the Lower Usman Dam treatment plant in Buari Area Council of the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, in April 2014, 9 years after contract was awarded for the project. As we speak, the Lower Usman Dam has 4 functional treatment plants and receives additional supply on transfer from the multipurpose Gurara Dam in Kaduna State, northwest Nigeria. It has the capacity to meet the water needs of residents of the territory, but the facilities, including pipes to evacuate the treated water to supply and distribute across 3 of the 6 area councils the dam serves in the territory, are simply not in place.
Tank 1 is at Dawaki, Tank 6 is at Apo. So the tank, I'm aware Tank 1, which is in Adawaki, is 100% completed, but the land has not been laid to it. Likewise, the tank in Apo, Tank 6, I don't know the level of completion, but even then, the land has not been laid to it. So without those lines, we cannot run here 100%.
So as we speak, construction work is not ongoing on the trunk that will evacuate the water from?
No. The infrastructure to deliver it to the respective area is not yet done. Reticulation. Like all those Gwarimpa, Bunkoro, Lube, all those areas you are seeing. There is a satellite development that's supposed to do all those ones, and the area council themselves. The area council is supposed to take it upon themselves to do, what are they doing? They're supposed to do their own reticulation. Yes? To provide water to, it's not only the central government that's supposed, it's everybody's affairs.
What you are looking at, we were told, are high-pressure water pipes that should be used to connect and deliver safe and clean water from the Lower Usman Dam to a number of communities within the Federal Capital City, but have long been abandoned around the old CBN junction in Gariki 2 district, where the FCT Water Board also has an office in the neighborhood. No better explanation could be given by the authorities for this waste, besides the fact that funds were not provided for continuation of a project that should have improved reticulation within the nation's capital in the several years that have gone by. Interestingly, the Federal Executive Council at its meeting of March 8, 2017, approved a $470 million project, an equivalent of 1.47 billion naira, for the Greater Abuja Water Project, that is to expand supply of water from the Lower Usman Dam to 28 of the 74 official districts in the Federal Capital City. The reticulation work is obviously a national priority project captured in the 2017 federal budget, but it is not in any way immune from inadequate funding that has also led to the abandoning of other water projects undertaken by the Federal Capital Territory administration. A typical case is the construction of a dam, treatment plant, tanks, and other bulk water supply infrastructure in Karshi satellite town in Abuja Municipal Area Council, AMAC, that have been effectively abandoned by the FCT authorities since the project was transferred from the national priority budget of the territory in 2015 to the FCT statutory budget in 2016 under the Satellite Towns Development Department, STDD, of the FCT administration, that has the Karshi Earth Dam located just meters away from its head office in Karshi town. For a state like Taraba in northeast Nigeria, the situation is more worrisome. This is a state that is naturally endowed by all standards with different major water bodies, yet the citizens across the length and breadth of the 16 local government areas of the state continue to search for safe and clean water on a daily basis. This is Jalingo, the capital of Taraba State, that has a population of over 2.3 million, going by the 2006 National Population and Housing Census figures. The lifeline for Jalingo is from the Africa Development Bank, the AFDB, that is funding the 5.8 billion naira Jalingo primary water source from River Lamurde in Gashaka local government, with 15 kilometers of water distribution pipelines also laid within the state capital. The population in Jalingo has long outgrown the water facility inherited from the old Gongola state.
We have another project again that is initiated solely by the Taraba State government. So at the end of the day, we'll have a combined water capacity of over 20 million liters per day for the state.
There are two big multipurpose water dams under construction in Taraba State by the federal government. These include the Mambila Hydropower Dam in Sardauna local government, renowned as one of the biggest in Africa and located about 376 kilometers from the state capital. Then there is the Kashimbila Dam in Takum local government that would also be generating electricity for the country and is about 296 kilometers away from Jalingo, the state capital. A major concern is that there seems to be no immediate plans to treat water from these two mega dams that can effectively provide safe and clean water for residents of major towns like Gembu in Sardauna local government and Wukari in Takum local government, amongst others.
Is there any state in this country that doesn't have access to this raw water dam?
No, all states are covered in some way, but you can't say every community because certain communities are far away. They cannot be near water supply or bulk water supply. And don't forget also, it's not every place that you can go and build a dam. There are certain areas by nature of the topography, by nature of the soil, by nature of the water flow, there is no way you can build a dam, there. So where we can build, we build. Where we cannot build, we have to provide some other means. But what the federal government will do, in the new water resources bill, we have provision for regulation now of the water sector. And what that means is there's a possibility now for the private sector to come into treatment, to take over treatment and distribution of water. So we feel that unless the private sector comes and takes over the operations of these water schemes, we are not saying privatization, we are saying, operation O&M contracts. So let them manage the schemes, do the billing, collect the tariff, and then use part of that money to continue to expand and improve. And that is what we are facilitating.
They want to have absolute control on the federal waterways, all the rivers and like the Gurala, all those Gurala dam, it belongs to them, you understand? So they want a situation where we have to pay them before we... I think if that thing came to a law, when it became a law, wherever we abstract from there, we are going to pay for it. That is one of those are what all the bill is all about.
There are also those who fear that, look, by the time the law comes and the states and the FCT have to pay to get the raw water, they will be forced to transfer this to the end user.
Definitely.
So we should expect that water bills will rise.
Definitely.
In that bill, I know the private sector have a major role to play in the provision of water to the public. My concern here is you know, when the private sector is involved, definitely the cost is going to go higher for the public. And it counters United Nations Act that water should be a basic and a human right to the populace. So that's where I have a reservation. So the public water system ought to be the best solution. But people are not really drilling boreholes because they want to show off they have their own source of water. It's because there is no alternative. In terms of quality, I don't advise people to consume water from boreholes without passing through laboratory analysis. Even there should be a quarterly or a regular check on groundwater you're using because it's subject to contamination, especially in our environment where we have so many activities going on unregulated. In the WHO standard for water for consumption, even 1 count of coliform, you're not advised to consume that water. The water is declared non-fit for consumption. But there are some sites that have collected water samples that the coliform count is as much as 20, which is terrible. And from my professional advice, it's alarming and it calls for urgent attention.
It is clearly time to do the needful and provide safe and clean water to all Nigerians. This is a human right. That's Straight Talk. We appreciate our partners, Media Dimensions, for their support. I am TV. Thanks a lot for watching and goodbye from Abuja.